Now, full moon, lunar eclipse Virgo, this indicates that we're at an ending. And this is not just a simple ending, it's a massive, extensive ending because it is an eclipse. So this is not a simple thing. This may take up to 2 years to unfold, but we're at an ending. Ending, coming back again to the vibration of number 9. Number 9 Hermit card process at the South Node, Virgo, where we're having the eclipse. And 9 works against the detriment of Venus. As I'm saying over and over again, sooner or later it's going to stick to where we remember as the experiences unfold. Now, concerning Virgo, what type of things are we ending? What is it that's ending? Well, the underlying value of Virgo is capacity for responsibility. And capacity for responsibility, it yields efficiency, which is the main thing, efficiency. Virgo rules over the 6th house. And the 6th house is where we regulate responsibilities. This is where we regulate our responsibilities. Through regulation of responsibilities, we're able to generate self-determination, confidence. We're also able to develop the character among many other things. The 6th house is where we prepare our offering. If the offering is not right, if it is not correct, if it is not complete, we lose access to the opportunities of the 10th house. This is the way that it works. Now, Virgo lunar eclipse, being that this is an ending, not a beginning, don't expect new themes, new stories, new matters to carry the meaning of this eclipse. We're expecting that matters and experiences in hindsight, out of the rearview mirror, is what we're going to be dealing with. So nothing new is going to surface concerning what the Virgo lunar eclipse is manifesting. It's going to be old themes that we have to create closure for, clarity, so that we can establish a new beginning, make room and capacity for new beginnings. Understand? So the closure has everything to do with the opening. The ending has everything to do with the beginning. They are one and the same. Again, we're dealing with the laws of duality, as the axis of Virgo and Pisces is an axis of duality, and the duality of beginning and ending. Okay, let's see. So I remind you, Proverbs 6, verses 6 to 9. Go to the ant, you sluggard. Consider its ways and be wise. Go to the ant, you sluggard. Consider its ways and be wise. There is much wisdom that we can gain, that we can extract from observation, study, looking into the lifestyle and behaviors, the tactics, the approach to life that ants have. Ants are very productive. Ants are very consistent. If you observe ants, you are observing, in essence, the zenith of what Virgo consciousness can make possible for you. Efficiency in essence. Efficiency in essence. Ants are very small. They do not take up much space. Ants, in comparison to other animals in the animal kingdom, they're not so intimidating like a lion or a bull, a water buffalo. a bobcat. Okay, they're very small. But because of their vigilance, consistency, and efficiency, how dutiful they are from sun up to sundown, they are a force to be reckoned with. They get results. They not only get results, but they get results that could be deemed as quite miraculous, beyond expectation. They move numbers, they move weight, they make it happen. And they're everything but sluggards. They're everything but lazy. And we could learn so much from the lifestyles of ants. Also, the fact that they work together, they rely upon each other. You've never seen ants working independently. They work together as a community. So there's much that we could consider in that and how we could possibly get greater results. Now, why should this be considered? There's so much that we complain about concerning not seeing efficiency in our life in a place where we want to see efficiency. Not being well in ways that we want to be well. Also, wanting to live in a reality where that reflects ourselves as having a level of perfection in a sense, or at least gratification in what we have accomplished or how efficient we have become. When we don't reach these goals, we tend to compensate or pacify in unhealthy ways. And that's what brings us back to Cancer. That's what brings us back to the fourth house, where we pacify the inner child, the grievances, the righteous anger, because of that dissatisfaction. So, as a preventative measure for us having to be in positions of being the victim, in positions of having complaints, in position of breeding jealousy and envy, looking at the other person who got ahead, the other person who got that position, the other person who accomplished that goal, the other person who obtained or procured something that you want to obtain or procure. We don't have to visit these crises of emotions if we can home into our responsibilities in a more efficient manner, with self-determination, knowing that it is all upon the self. And this brings us back to our sixth house. What's the condition of our sixth house? What's been going on there to where we feel or could have felt that our offering has been rejected? Our offering has not been accepted. The offering comes from the sixth house, how you prepare the offering. And where we take that offering is to the 10th house so that we can gain access to our ambitions. Do you see the commonality? So where in the sixth house have we been lacking in the details, the attitude that has us to be prepared for success? What are our intentions as well? Because Virgo brings in unrealistic expectations, wanting to be so perfect, having to have everything so perfect. If everything's not perfect, this could affect things. For example, if a person has Virgo in places of their sexuality, they can have a lot of problems in their marriage concerning sexual themes, dissatisfaction. If everything's not right, if everything's not perfect, they can't do it. Or they can't reach their point, if you know what I mean. If everything's not perfect, you don't get started. You delay. You procrastinate. You wait because everything has to be so perfect for you to do it. You could have started the project. You could have connected with those people. You could have promoted yourself in that way, or you could have done this, or you could have done that. But because everything is not so perfect, you procrastinate, you delay, you miss opportunities. Virgo could have an effect on your relationship circumstances, situations between the 1st and the 7th house, or the 1st and the 8th house, even 5th house. I would say 5th and 7th house. And your selection of other people could be a little too full of criticism, expecting other people to be so perfect, or projecting outwards that you don't see yourself as so perfect. So you project that same attitude onto others, calling out what is not perfect about them. Your bank account shot. How much money do you spend on feeling beautiful by buying Chinese hair store beauty products, buying all type of expensive clothes and sneakers and jewelry and name brand this and name brand that? Hairstyles that cost thousands of dollars, hairstyles that cost hundreds of dollars. Yeah, this is a real thing. There are people out here that spend thousands of dollars on hairstyles. Yes, that's a real thing. And then complain about being broke, complain about their money issues. Right? So that again is compensating. That again is pacifying. You're trying to supplement for something that you didn't take responsibility for. Right? So you're trying to buy a feeling of being beautiful. You're trying to buy a feeling of being attractive. But why didn't you go to the gym? Why did you change your diet? You see the commonality. The gym goes with the 6th house. Working out goes with the 6th house. Dieting goes with the 6th house. Healthy lifestyle goes with the 6th house. So there's things that we're supposed to do from a spiritual capacity that we're trying to compensate and make up for in superficial ways. So I could spend a hefty budget on trying to feel attractive. I'm buying all type of expensive clothes, designing this and designing that, big expensive cars and all these other things so that I could feel attractive. When I would spend much less money, less strain, I would respect myself enough not to risk my personal security, okay, financially, by putting a budget instead to a healthcare plan, a health regimen, a fitness regimen for myself, okay? Get a gym membership and start going to the gym. Start eating right. Clean out the refrigerator and the cabinets. I'm only buying what I know is healthy for me. You spend less money. You respect yourself at the end of the day. Your self-esteem is going to shoot through the roof. You're going to start loving yourself. You're going to start feeling like more obligated to honor yourself. Your self-esteem is going to be so healthy that you're not going to be projecting any negative energy out on other people. You're going to have more of a positive impact on others because of it. And you're attracting all type of goodness into your life, but instead you wanted to go the shortcut of buying that feeling. So again, go to the ant, you sluggard, and consider its ways and be wise. Consider its ways and be wise. We have to work for what we want. We have to identify, where does accountability lead me to the responsibilities that gives me fulfillment of duty? And fulfillment of duty is reward of ambition. You see how that works? We have to start identifying that. Where is my complaint coming from? I'm dissatisfied, I'm upset, I'm frustrated, I'm not getting what I want, I'm not feeling the way I want to feel. Somewhere, some responsibilities have been neglected. have been overlooked. And that starts with overlooking accountability. Accountability comes first, then responsibility. Accountability identifies the responsibilities. You see how that works. I don't like that I'm stuck in this situation. I don't like that I'm living out this experience. I don't like that this person is doing this. I don't like that that person is doing that. Identify the accountability first. Hold yourself accountable first. Where have I created or co-created this experience? Now from there, I can identify the responsibility. What responsibilities will help me to restore the balance, to take control of my destiny? Understand? So I think that point is made well. Moving on. Now, self-determination and responsibility collectively. Oh yes, this is definitely a serious thing here. Collectively, what this looks like is, lately you know that the stroke of Donald Trump's pen, okay, has gotten rid of many systems and programs, trimming the fat out of the government. Trimming the fat out of the government. And with that being said, there's a lot that we have the ability to do for self. But through programs such as, for example, Lyndon B. Johnson's welfare program, Section 8, SNAP benefits, EBT, okay, things of this nature, DEI hiring, affirmative action, all of these things, they create a sense of entitlement. And the sense of entitlement works against the sense of self-determination. It robs you of self-determination. And the sense of entitlement can go with these public programs. It also can go with relationships, okay? Where you feel entitled because of your looks. You feel entitled because of how big your butt is. You feel entitled because of the type of car that you got. You feel entitled because you look in the mirror and you feel like you're attractive. You feel entitled. So you raise up what you expect. But what you expect is not part of what you're willing to produce, create, or co-create. It's not part of what you are willing to put responsibility and work and effort behind to have an outcome. And this comes back again to Proverbs 6, go to the ant, you sluggard, and consider its ways and be wise. Be wise. Be wise. Things that we feel entitled to, working against our self-determination, it spoils our spirit, it spoils our attitude. We become something very ugly. The entitlement. Entitlement across the board. Certain positions in the work environment, jobs. We know that in America, there, how do I say this in being fair? In America, especially through unions, craftsmen or blue-collared construction workers and skilled craftsmen, okay, they got to a point where they were working towards competitive wages, okay? And then you have people of other nationalities, and I'm going to be fair and not name any nationalities because I really don't want to be inflammatory or offensive with what I'm saying, okay? I'm being sincere here. Other nationalities, and this is not talking about illegal immigrants, but, you know, not yet. But what I'm emphasizing is other nationalities come into the blue collar or construction field, okay? And they decide we will work for much less. We'll do the same amount for much less, okay? The desperation of coming from a third world country into a first world country, okay? I made it to the first world country. I don't care. I'll work for anything. I'm desperate, right? So you undercutting the wages of what Americans progressively um, fought to become qualified for. Okay, Americans didn't just sit around on their behind to be qualified for the wages that they were getting. Okay, they determine within themselves that they are that value, that they have that value to offer and contribute to the infrastructure of America. So pay me this wage or else we're going to go on strike. Okay, we have to fight for a right somehow to be able to afford to get married and raise children, understand, and have a retirement plan, good health care and benefits, things of that nature. But then you have immigrants, legal and illegal, okay, I'll say that, who come into the workplace from third world countries, and they're, desperate and willing to work for anything. I don't care. I'll work for a fraction of the price. And so now the Americans who traditionally worked up to a point where they could finally have leverage to argue a better wage for themselves so that they can progress with the cost of living as it progresses, their wages progress so that they can continue to be able to afford to get married and raise children without without three families living in the same damn house. Okay, it curved that. It took that away from Americans. Okay. And then these same people turn around and say, oh, Americans are lazy. Y'all are lazy. Y'all just don't want to work. We're more hardworking than you and we'll do it for less. Okay, if you're so hardworking, why don't you go back to your own country and build it up? Why you ran away from there and came over here if you're so damn hardworking? If you're so special. We were working at something here. We had a focus here. We're a first world country, not third world country. So we're at a place where we can leverage for greater wages so that we could keep up with the cost of living that consistently ascends here in this first world country, because we don't have intentions of living three families in one house. We don't have them intentions, and we also don't have intentions of working ourselves to death. That's the level that y'all are at. And whatever level that y'all are at in your country, you need to go there and deal with that, but don't bring your crisis into America exploiting us with it. You understand? To where we can't argue for our fair wages. So now generations pass where young people are not interested in getting in there because, okay, it was enough when your father and grandfather was working the trades, the iron worker, the scaffold builder, the carpenter, or whatever else, okay? But now the young people are looking at that like, I'm not doing that labor for that amount of money. I can't create my own reality with that amount of money, not without working 12 hours a day, 70, 80 hours a week. No, that's third world. We have evolved past that type of slavery. We have bigger fish to fry on a level of consciousness that we have reached in our civilization than to just be drowning ourselves in constant work. Understand? We figured that out here in America, and now we have third world people coming to America fucking it up. Understand? And with illegal immigrants, it's even worse. That's just a whole different ball game. That's just all fucked up. So the point that I'm making is expectations. It spoils self-determination. And when we find ourselves in a situation where we say, oh, I'm a victim, somewhere expectation superseded self-determination. Because self-determination is supposed to pair itself with responsibility and accountability to control the creation of one's destiny, the fulfillment and fruition of one's destiny. Self-determination. But that entitlement, it spoils it every time. I kind of got away from the point that I was making with this whole work thing, but I'm just still flowing. I went off on a tangent, but I'm just gonna continue flowing. I don't use notes. I come from the heart, so I'm just flowing. So Please pardon me if it seems like I went off degree. So anyway, I want you to look at your situation, look at your life, knowing that a full moon, a full lunar eclipse is coming, okay, in Virgo. It has a lot to do with sixth house themes. And as for where you have Virgo in your natal chart, it has to do with efficiency, self-criticism, okay? It also has a lot to do with responsibilities that you identify with, okay, toward your ideal of satisfaction, okay? Understand that. Now, Virgo also, what was that word? Efficiency, self-determination. Yes, efficiency. Now, where in your life are you seeing? Where in your life are you seeing that the way that you have been relating to responsibilities has to end? What have you been feeling responsible for that maybe you're not responsible for? Or where, okay, have you had expectations and entitlement without remembering the responsibility and accountability that goes with it? Okay, now, along with that, responsibility is what goes with freedom. Okay, anybody out here who wants freedom and liberty, okay, freedom and liberty is a big theme for everybody. We all want freedom, we all want liberty. Now, why do I bring up freedom and liberty? Because Juno just made its way to Sagittarius, okay? And Juno holds the monogamous commitment of the soul. It's where the soul feels monogamously committed to a focus, okay? It's determined to live out that particular energy, okay, which is freedom, because it's in Sagittarius. Therefore, it's just freedom and expansion. So our will is to experience freedom, liberation, and expansion for ourselves. But with the full moon, full moon Virgo, we're realizing responsibility and self-determination is how I experience that, okay? Because you can't have freedom without responsibility. Otherwise, you become oppressive. You become destructive. You become dangerous. You become a liability. And then you become somebody else's responsibility. You can't talk about liberation without accountability. Because self-determination has to go with upholding freedom and liberty. Otherwise, you become somebody else's slave because you failed to do so. Freedom works against institutionalization. Institutionalization works against freedom. But here's the trade-off. The person who wants freedom has to afford security, okay, for that freedom. The person who wants security has to afford freedom for that security. One is the price of the other. So the more freedom you want to enjoy, the less security the more security that you're going to have to self-determine that is, okay? The more security that you want to enjoy, the more freedom that you're going to have to self-determine as well. Because one is taken away from the other. It's almost as if like you can't have both at the same time. That's not true, okay? But that's the illusion. You want freedom and liberty, but you can't complain about not having security if you're not the type of person to remember that responsibility and accountability has to go with the freedom and liberty. Because responsibility and accountability is how you compensate, okay, through self-determination, your own security if someone else is not securing you. You understand? Now, going the other way. You prefer the security over so much freedom. You're having the security, but you have to live agreeable with the infrastructure and institutionalization, or not institutionalization, with the infrastructure and institution that affords that security. Okay, so it's like earth, fire, and air. I say fire. Earth and fire, okay? This is earth and fire here. So, we all have a crisis between freedom and security. The solution is for us to understand that whatever view of freedom that we have to figure out and strategize how to pair self-determination, a formula of self-determination, accountability, and responsibility to uphold that freedom, because that's what's going to compensate for someone else not affording you the security with the freedom. You have to then afford your own security if you are looking for freedom and liberty in the future view of your life. What does that look like? And because the full moon talks about an ending, what do you have to end in order to experience that? Now we're getting somewhere. Ending, okay, if the view by Juno at Sagittarius is freedom, that means the ending is an illusion of security somewhere. You see. Okay, so it's giving us the answers. If you have Juno as Sagittarius, which is showing you where your freedom is at, where you want to expand, that's the route to your freedom. You see it. You feel it. You're homing in on it. So the ending is what works against freedom. What works against freedom? Security. Security through what? Infrastructure. So what infrastructure have you tied yourself into that doesn't allow you to experience the level of freedom that you want? And why do you feel like you need that infrastructure? Why are you dependent upon it? What happened? Okay, so you're looking at that infrastructure that's preventing you from that full experience of that freedom. This infrastructure could be an old dead marriage. It could be a career or a job that you're just tired of. I just can't go another day in that toxic environment. It could be certain obligations, duties, responsibilities that you have through the 8th house or 10th house that you can't seem to get out of because you have not prepared personal security to transfer yourself over to. So you have to transfer yourself from one institution to another institution so that you're preserving your security. Right now, we all are tied to an infrastructure that's given us a sense of security. So it gives us a fear or hesitation to reach for the view of freedom. So right now we're learning that we have to come up with a strategy to replace that institution that's given us a sense of freedom, a sense of security, right? So that we can provide our own security so that we can access greater freedom. You understand? Because you can't go into greater freedom and liberation or liberty for yourself without providing your own security. Now, this could look like, okay, you see in the view, there's another job that you want to go to, another career direction. You want to step out as an entrepreneur, or maybe there's a relationship situation that you're considering that could be healthier for you. And whatever it is, what you're looking for, what we are all looking for, how do I close this structure? How do I get out of this safety net that I know I'm outgrowing? I've outgrown this safety net. Before I can leave this safety net, I have to prepare another safety net first. So what does my new safety net look like? That's what this is about. The full moon is closing up that safety net. But it has to happen in one stroke, where the safety net that you close, it has to be an even and smooth transition to where you go into a new safety net that you have prepared. So this is about preparation. As you end, you begin. It happens in one stroke, yin and a yang. This is what we're perceiving up ahead. You understand? So it's like making your escape plan, your exit plan. You're planning your escape. Understand? You're planning your escape. This is going to require an attitude of self-determination, responsibility, and accountability. Of course, vibration 9 is going with this, because you're not going to be able to indulge in the impulses of Venus as much as you have, because now self-determination is activated. Okay? It's a heavier responsibility. So I think I've clarified that. If you have questions or comments, feel free. Again, this is a Discourse series, so they're going to be coming back to back. I appreciate your support. For the few out there who are supportive, there's 101, people subscribe. They hide in the dark. They don't show the support. They just lurk. They take. You understand? But because I have the conviction in my heart that this is what I am here to do, I don't make excuses. I still show up and I do it. I don't get paid for this. You understand? It's not a lot of support, but when there is support, it really counts. And it goes a long way. And I'm definitely grateful for that. So hopefully this information is helpful to you. And, you can look forward to a part 3 so that we can go over more details. Understand?